Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Kelvin here. So, a while ago, I made a review video on Hodlnaut. Just in case you don't know, Hodlnaut is a platform where you can put your cryptos to earn a high interest. And they are actually paying higher interest compared to other platforms like Celsius or BlockFi or Nexo. For example, Hodlnaut pays 7.2% on Bitcoin, while Celsius only pays 6.2%. Hodlnaut pays 12% on USDT, while Nexo pays 10%. But here's the thing, Hodlnaut is very small compared to other platforms. In May 2021, Hodlnaut only has 5,000 users, while Nexo already has 2.5 million users. Or Hodlnaut only has $234 million assets under management, while Celsius has $20 billion assets under management. And even though there are tons of reviews on Hodlnaut, all you're going to get is this. Hodlnaut is good to use because their rates are the best. But I wanted to go deeper than just talking about their good rates, like finding out how can Hodlnaut pay such a high interest? Is Hodlnaut actually profitable or not? How's their security really like? I also wanted to find out whether the Hodlnaut team is actually competent or not. Later they lose all our money, then how? And since I'm not able to find any of this info online, I decided to go ask Hodlnaut directly because yes, we can. By the way, just in case you guys are wondering, no, this video is not sponsored. I don't get paid by Hodlnaut to do this video. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm putting all my Bitcoin and Ethereum in Hodlnaut, and I wanted to find out how safe is the platform. So all of this is just to address my concerns here. Let's not waste any time and let's head over to the interview. For this video, I have a special guest. His name is Changtek. He's actually a social media manager from Hodlnaut. Some of you guys might have seen him actively answering questions on social media. I'll first start with the first question. How is Hodlnaut able to pay such a high interest? Because I see from other platforms, right, it's not as high as Hodlnaut. How is Hodlnaut able to achieve that?
We are able to pay such high interest rates because we are always accessing the market to see which assets are in high demand and can offer the most competitive rates to our users. We always look at the market and see, okay, Bitcoin, is it in demand? Are people going to borrow Bitcoin today? Are they willing to pay such a high interest rate if they want to borrow Bitcoin? As comparison to other assets, let's say Dogecoin or Shiba Inu, right? It wouldn't make sense for us to go and say, okay, we want to offer interest earning on Shiba Inu today. Shiba Inu is a meme coin. Why would you want to borrow Shiba Inu against, like, let's say, other crypto as collateral? It's a very volatile coin as compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Not saying Bitcoin and Ethereum is not volatile, but they're kind of known as a blue chip crypto in the crypto space, really. How we are able to pay such high interest rate is because once you deposit your crypto with us, we actually loan them out to corporate and institutional investors, and then this actually pay interest rate from that. Then we take a small profit from the interest rates and then we pass the rest of the earnings to our users. Additionally, we take a small portion of the assets that they're deposited on our platform, right? We lend it out to audited, established and venture capital-backed decentralized protocols like the compound finance, and then we earn an interest rate from that. And also interest rates are constantly evaluated based on market demand and our earnings from the previous month. So while Hodlnaut, right, we aim to keep our interest rates stable, and over the past 2 years, we haven't really decreased our interest rates yet, right? It is still subject to change on a month-to-month basis.
Why are borrowers willing to borrow at such a high interest rate? Why not, let's say, go to DBS or UOB, borrow at a much lower rate?
Partners who borrow from us, right, they mostly use the crypto that they borrow as a hedge against the Bitcoin prices or market making on their own platform or exchanges. There are some institutions who have their own exchanges as well who borrow crypto from us, but we unfortunately cannot divulge their names because of competitive intelligence. Yeah, so some of these partners, right, they also approach us for liquidity. Their needs mostly depend on their business functions as well. Why don't they go to banks like DBS? The reason why they don't do so is because they otherwise struggle to access these traditional banking loans due to a variety of reasons, long approval processes. I'm sure you own a HDB. Then you know that to get a loan, right, you have to go through a very tedious process of you have to access your credit score. You have to apply for this grant, you have to apply for that grant, and then you have to go through this approval, you have to go through lawyer's letter, blah, blah, blah. Only within 2 or 3 months, then you will get approved. But crypto loans, right, because majority of it is a smart contract. In our case, right, we already have certain legal contracts in place. You can just put in the corporation's name, and then we can do quick vetting, look at their credit score, look at how much collateral that they can provide us, and then, right, the process will be approved as fast as within 3 to 5 working days, or as low as 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and that is already faster than banks itself. And then another reason, right, why people prefer crypto loans instead, right, is because in banks itself, right, there are high admin fees. We all cannot avoid one. So like when you borrow crypto from us, right, it goes up to this point where there are actually very flexible loan terms. If you want to borrow crypto for a very long time, then you can provide us a higher collateral. There will be more flexible loan terms there, and then the interest rates can be adjusted accordingly. So which brings us to the last point. Crypto loans are really more accessible. Just go online, you don't have to come down in person, or you don't even have to have the bank employee come down to you to really access that you are who you say you are, and then they counter check against your IC and all that. You can just do everything online. You just do a face-to-face meet, and then you can get crypto loans.
Okay, so for the next question, right, are you able to share how much funding did Holdnaut receive?
The company actually started out with just 100k of pre-seed funding from Ender itself. The thing is, right, because this is a pre-seed funding, right, there is not really a valuation tied to this funding, because it's pre-seed funding, and then it says that, oh, this funding is given to you to actually start up your company. So it brings us to the next question. Some people will be thinking, you have only 100k of funding. How we are able to pay our employees, right, or how we are able to fund our operation, right, is actually from purely profits, 100% profits. The founders, right, when they started the company, right, they only started hiring employees when they were able to amass some amount of profits after receiving the pre-seed funding. And thereafter, the company has been profitable ever since.
So I also noticed that in Holdnaut, you can actually buy insurance. But let's say if I don't buy insurance, and if Holdnaut is hacked, right, will my funds be refunded?
In the unlikely event that something happens to Hodlnaut, we will be paying out to as many users as we can from our own equity funds, amassed from the profits that we make monthly. However, there is no guarantee, right, that you can get all your funds back. Please do your own research, and then please don't put all your entire life savings into crypto thinking that, oh, hey, it's a high interest rate, wow, you can earn this certain amount of returns. High rewards, right, come with high risk. If tomorrow, right, you cannot eat your favorite Syfe, you cannot go and buy your groceries, right, then you are actually doing it wrongly.
Yeah. I've comments people asking me, is it safe to put their savings in Hodlnaut? The important thing to remember is it's an investment, right? There's a risk of losing your money. So treat it as investment and not savings account. That's the most important thing. For my next question, right? When you say that you can pay as many users as you can, do you actually keep the liquidity on book to prepare for this kind of hacks? Why not consider getting an insurance instead?
It's actually not the company's liquidity itself, it's actually equity. The equity is actually accumulated from our months of profit. And then we proceed to this point where I ask you this question. Why does Hodlnaut, right, have to pay the bill affecting users who are here to actually earn a high interest rate? If we were to get an insurance, right, this particular insurance, it will not cover our main business operations where we lend out the crypto. The funds actually go out on lend to people who actually borrow crypto from us. Crypto is an extremely risky business, and there are actually no insurance products out there that will actually cover the risk exposure of Hodlnaut's business model, which is lending out crypto. The insurance would actually cover only for funds in custody. But the thing is, if the funds are in our custody, right, it means, right, the funds are just sitting there doing nothing, and it's not being lent out to generate yield. If there's no yield, then there's no interest rate for you, what? And then we are still paying for the insurance for those funds in custody. It will eventually be passed on to our users, right, to share the cost, right?
Let's say if users are scared that their cryptos are stolen, it's better that they get the insurance themselves.
That's the reason why we actually provide that optional smart contract insurance for our users, where it will cover in two conditions. Number one, if withdrawals are halted for more than 90 days. And number two, in an unlikely event of a hack and you lose more than 10% of your funds to be covered up to the cover that you bought.
I understand that institutions have collateral with Hodlnaut whenever they borrow money from Hodlnaut. But let's say if the institutions fails, won't the collateral be worthless?
This is how it works. You are institution A and you want to come and borrow crypto for us because you run a crypto exchange and you want to borrow crypto for us to actually fund your crypto exchange so that people can come to your exchange to do trading. Let's say you want to borrow 100 BTC from us, right? You need to have actually more than 100 BTC, right, to act as collateral against that 100 BTC that you borrow from us. That collateral, right, would actually be in our possession itself, no longer in your possession anymore already. Let's say, they say your company fails and then you default on your loan. We will still have that collateral and it will not become worthless. That collateral will then be used to repurchase the funds that have been lost and that will actually ensure business continuity. So if you wish to borrow Bitcoin, the collateral must be in any of the 6 assets on our platform.
My next question is, what happens during a bear market? In May 2021, there was a crypto crash and there were lending platforms like Anchor Protocol. They almost ran out of money. Will Hodlnaut face this kind of problem? Let's say if everyone withdraw their funds, right, will there be enough liquid holding to pay out interest?
So it's not about liquidity, it's about the company's equity. Let's say majority of people withdraw their funds. We will have equity funds to continue running the business until the market recovers a bit. So no matter a bull or bear market, right, people will still be borrowing crypto. Hodlnaut's rates are always subjected to change according to the company's profits in the last month and also the market conditions.
My next question is about security of Hodlnaut because I know that Hodlnaut uses Fireblocks to store cryptos, right? Other than Fireblocks, what other security measures do you guys have?
The platform, right, it actually runs on a secure cloud infrastructure on Amazon Web Services. So we actually encrypt and anonymize as much data as possible on our servers. Additionally, right, we actually use industry standard algorithms for password hashing and procedures. Then before sign up, right, remember when you sign up on our platform, right, you have to activate Google 2FA before you can even access your account. Why we don't do SMS authentication, right, is because there's a possibility of SIM jacking. SIM jacking happens, right, when people have a copy of your SIM card and then they have a copy of your number, so they know that you access this account, and then they will actually send an SMS authentication. They will receive the SMS but not you. That's the reason why Google Authenticator or even OT itself is very important and mandatory for us. We do rate limiting and we do capture security measures. We ensure that all servers and services are continuously monitored and run on the latest security updates. And then also we make sure that internal facing applications, right, they have separate access controls and they are not exposed to the public internet itself. Our engineers, we get real-time alerts, right, to solve any issues immediately. In the middle of the night, right, when they get alert, right, they will actually wake up, turn on the computer, and they will solve this first because they know that this is a real issue. And then we have also designed our infrastructure and features in a way, right, to be reliable and to be scalable for future developments. And then lastly, right, is the usage of firewalls, keep our network secure. And then we also have IP security tools such as intrusion detection to detect unauthorized access to our systems and data. Our domains, we are actually protected with a DNS SEC to prevent certain types of man-in-the-middle attack. All server connections are locked and they require multi-factor authentication and direct password authentication as well as public connections, right? They are not possible. And to finish off with one last assurance to everyone, right? We conduct periodic vulnerability assessment and vulnerability testing, right, on our infrastructure to strengthen our security position. Sometimes you see our platform going under maintenance, right? We are actually testing the system, right, to see, right, whether a certain attack will go through the system. And if it does go through, we find out what needs to be addressed to prevent that certain attack from going through.
So I noticed that all your tests are like internal testing. Do you plan to get a third-party security audit to test out your security stuff?
There is definitely plans in the future to get a third-party audit. It's definitely in the works and definitely something that we are considering in the near future.
Is there anything preventing a rogue employee, let's say he's not happy with the boss, is there anything preventing him from doing a rug pull and steal all the funds?
Okay, definitely. So let's say I'm not happy with the company, or let's say I'm not happy with the bosses. The reason why I'm unable to do so, right? Number one, simply, I do not have access to funds. That is the number one blocker. That is how, right, MCP wallets, or in a simpler term, sharded private keys and multi-sig wallets, right, they have been designed so that there is no single source of failure and no one person has a means to run away with funds. We are actually also undergoing MAS licensing applications. So if your concern, right, is that the founders themselves, right, they will do a rug pull together, right, they will actually face criminal action from the local authorities, because basically when you apply for something, right, you have already submitted all the information already, and then if you do rug, they'll basically go to jail. Then to further reiterate on the first point, right, no employee has access to funds, and every withdrawal, right, over a big certain amount, right, it requires, right, a lot of approval before it can go through.
So the other thing is, from what I noticed, right, a lot of reviews about Holdnaut is good. It's because of interest rates are good. There was one review that stood out. One of his points is that the CTO has no software development experience. What do you think about that?
To assure users, right, our CTO himself, right, his personal experience, right, is that he loves to code and he has actually done a lot of coding himself before actually starting Holdnaut. It actually wasn't a passion of his until he started university, but when he went into university, right, he took IS, Information Systems as his first programming module himself. And then even after university, right, he kept refining his skills in a couple of web app side projects actually. And then, right, he actually quit his full-time job, right, to work on a crypto trading tool. Then he also prefers software engineering, right, over mechanical engineering because it allows him to quickly iterate and improve on his ideas. And also information is so readily available online for you to pick up best practices and standards. Yeah, and I hope that gives kind of certain assurance to your users.
For the reverse second point, right, the senior dev actually have only like 3 to 4 years of experience, and the risk team is actually fresh grads. So actually he feels that the team is still very young and he feels it's not very secure. What do you think about that?
Our answer to this is that Hodlnaut actually believes in hiring talented and very bright individuals. Despite being young, right, all of us, we are very passionate about the job that we do. And even the developers, right, they are willing to learn and they are willing to keep improving, and they are very easily coachable as well. Why I say this is because, right, developers and the potential developers that we will hire, they have actually gone through rigorous screening processes, right, that not only test their knowledge but also their experience before they are even considered for an interview. Additionally, right, new hires that actually apply for our platform, right, they need to have a very solid and extensive portfolio, right, before we even consider them for an interview.
For the final question, right, what are Holdnaut's future plans? Because I understand that portfolio management and auto swaps are on the way. Are there any like exclusive things that you can share that's not on the website?
Sure, no problem. So firstly, right, Holdnaut is actually expanding. We have actually plans to expand to other countries. And number two, this has actually been a feedback given by our users for quite a long time really. Our users have actually been complaining, saying that hey, ERC20 network is too expensive to transfer from other exchanges, from other wallets. So we hear you, and our team is actually currently working on introducing new networks or introducing new assets to the platform to hopefully make it easier for you to bring your assets from other exchanges or from other wallets to our platform itself, instead of paying very hefty fees on the ERC20 network.
So that was the interview. Personally, I felt that Hodlnaut was able to address my concerns. But just in case you guys have more questions, you can just comment down below. I will try to answer them if I know the answer. Otherwise, I will also get Hodlnaut to answer them directly, yeah? Anyway, that's all for today. Like, share, and subscribe as I'll be posting more videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.